Hey guys, what's up? Jace here from Bullet for My Valentine, and you are watching Metalshop TV. Yeah! My history with Bullet goes back to 2010. I was asked to fill in for their drummer at the time. It was the band's first arena tour, and there was 2 days to get ready. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. You know, I'd love to help. I was a session musician back then and played with other bands. And yeah, played like 5 arena gigs in the UK, Wembley, Birmingham, Manchester, Scotland, Cardiff, and yeah, that was awesome. And then you know, Bullet, they reconvened. The drummer got back in, and then I wrote an album with Matt called Axe Wound. It was a side project, really heavy, dirty metal project, back in 2012. And then years went by, and then all of a sudden it was 2015, I think, and yeah, for whatever reason I was asked to fill in again, and stayed with the band filling in, and then yeah, politics happened, and I was asked if I would like to join the band, and I think that was at the start of 2017 is when I became a member. So I rejoined the band at the end of 2015, toured throughout 2016, and then became a member in 2017. And yeah, so that's it. Complicated history. It was, I think it was January the 10th, and 2017. And it was a no-brainer, you know. I was like, yeah, of course, I would love to be part of Bullet, because I was already friends with Matt, and you know, I love the guys. I get on really well with them. We're all quite similar, and I love the music. So those two things were like, yeah, of course, I'd love to be part of the band. So yeah, it was an easy decision to make. We do talk about it. It's just so difficult with time. We never say never, because we love Axe Wound. It was a really special project. So I think if there's going to be another Axe Wound album, it would happen very quickly without any planning. It would be like, let's do an Axe Wound album, and it would be done. So it would be quick. But at the moment, because Bullet has become more heavy, I think, on the last album, and maybe that's a little bit of Axe Wound energy going into Bullet, so we can't spread ourselves too thin. You know, that's the difficult bit. We don't want to compromise the sound of Bullet, because we could write ideas for Axe Wound and then think that could be really good for Bullet. Maybe Bullet for My Axe Wound or something, I don't know. Yeah, it was a long time ago now, wow. Whew. It was good, it was intense. At the time it was, I think it was 15 songs in a week I recorded. And I just literally recorded another album with another band. And it was straight onto that, and yeah, he's a really nice guy. It was he's intense, you know, and really passionate about what he does. And I love working with people who are passionate, because it gives you energy, and it makes you do things that you wouldn't normally do. It brings out parts of your playing, you know, and yeah, it's all about passion and intensity. It's a good album actually. I think it's called Blood and Belief. Yeah, we recorded it with Andy Sneap the legendary metal producer. Yeah. But Andy's a good friend, and it was good. It was good fun. Blaze is a real character. Yeah, I think that's a really good way of putting it, the true essence of Bullet for My Valentine. So it was written during the lockdown, and because the band had time to relax, there was no pressure to release or bring it out on this date. It was just, well, we'll just do what we can, and Matt wrote a lot of it in isolation. Some of it was written in 2019 in the summer, so we had a long time to get it right, and it just goes to show that if you've got time, you can create something that's true and representative of everyone in the band, because we all love it, we're all on the same page, you know. And the album before that, Gravity, was more experimental, and maybe some of us weren't sure about what was going to happen with it. But funnily enough, when I listen to Gravity now, it sounds great, you know, away from all the criticism. Now it's strong on its own. But the latest album is definitely what we're about right now. So I think it's the energy more than anything. Every song is quite different, but even the slower songs feel intense, like Shatter, My Reverie. They've got an energy, and we really want to keep that moving forward on the next album. It's a mixture, really. Like you say, I think there's, in the pandemic, there's a lot of confusion and anger, and maybe people's real feelings surfaced more. So people were more honest with how they felt. But I think Gravity allowed us to create a really heavy album. Because a band's career, you know, you can't judge a band on one album. You have to look at the whole album, the whole repertoire. And it's Bullet's 7th album, the latest album, so there's a lot of albums. You look at it, and it's really rich and diverse. Like, if we'd have put out the same album, like the recent album, 7 times, we would be boring and flat. But there's a lot of like interesting moments in Bullet's career. So when we play the live show, the live set is colourful. You've got like Hearts Burst Into Fire, 1,000 Cuts, Knives, Betrayal, Demons, Tears. It's all different. It makes the live show more exciting. Gravity, I was definitely more involved, but it was tough. It was a hard process, because we were finding, you know, is this going to work? Is this sound too soft? Is that heavy enough? It was more complex, and I enjoyed the challenge of that. Like, I remember when Piece of Me was written, it started out of a drum beat. And Matt was like, oh, that's cool, let's find a killer riff for it now. You know, and we spent like a good few days on the riff with the groove. But then the latest album was more, it was quicker to write the songs. Obviously more isolated as well, like Knives, what's the other song? I can't remember now. There's about 4 or 5 songs written together as a band in 2019. And then Matt wrote a few songs on his own. And then Matt and myself wrote Rainbow Veins together. And then Padge wrote some songs on his own. So it was all kind of fragmented, but it was good because it just came together naturally and we were all on the same page. So yeah, I like both processes. Well, I love playing heavy and fast as a drummer. But to be honest with you, the challenging stuff is the slower stuff live, because there's more time to think. And the slower it is, the more, and the simpler it is, the more likely you are to make a small mistake. So, because it stands out more. When it's fast, you know, you just go for it. But every song has different challenges. Well, Josh Freese is one of my favourite drummers of all time. Now he's like a session drummer. He played with Perfect Circle, he's played with Weezer, session for Pink, Nine Inch Nails, and I love his musicality. Mitch Mitchell, who drummed for Jimi Hendrix. Oh man, it's tough. It'd have to be Dave Lombardo, because he really, when I was like 12 years old, that's when I was like, I'm going to be a drummer. When I listened to Slayer, you know, I worshipped Slayer and Dave's drumming. Fever for me. I think the production on it is incredible, and I just thought it captured a moment in time, and that's when the band was at a really good peak, playing arenas in the UK. Like Begging for Mercy is still one of my favourite Bullet songs. And you got like, you know, Bittersweet Memories, Last Fight, obviously, Betrayal. It's just classic songs, you know, I love that. But then the Scream Aim Fire EP was fantastic as well. So yeah, it's difficult, but I think Fever for me. Yeah, wow. I mean, my first gig, I was like, I think I was 14 years old, and I was in a band with older people, and it was in a place called Rugby in the UK, and it was downstairs there was this bingo club with old people, like grannies and granddads playing bingo, and upstairs there was a punk club with people with Mohicans and people fighting. And yeah, I felt sick, but I felt so nervous. I was like, wow, why do I feel like this? But when I started playing, it was like, everything feels easy. It's amazing. And I could play faster because of the adrenaline. And I still like that now. You know, when you play live, everything feels easier when you play fast songs, because you get the energy and you see the crowd and you just like, I can't explain it, the rush, you feel like invincible. That's why we do it. Yeah, but you need to be, because you need to be alert. If you go on stage thinking, oh yeah, this is fine, then that's when shit starts to happen. Like last night we played in Munich, 5,000 people, and the stage, it was massive, the venue, but the sound for me as a drummer, all I could hear was booming, the sub, and I couldn't hear the guitars. I was like, shit, this is amazing, but the guitar sounded late. The sound was messing with my head, so I really had to, come on, let's think, and be professional and work hard and, you know, still deliver. So every gig is different. So you need the nerves to activate the adrenaline and control it and put on the best show you can. Before the show, well, the worst thing that can happen is being ill for me. And there was this time in the UK, I think it was when we were doing the Poison anniversary tour, I felt sick before, and I knew I'm going to be sick before, you know, I'm going to be sick in the show. I knew it was going to happen. And so I started playing, and then I could feel it come in. And my big worry was, I don't want to be sick in the middle of a song because I don't want to fuck the song up. So I was like, everywhere, all over the drums, and yeah, had to stop in between songs, and my poor drum tech had to clean it up from the pedals with a towel. But then I did the rest of the show, and it was fine, but I felt weak, you know. That's the worst thing that's ever happened. Well, it's just the city is so beautiful, and it doesn't feel like a city to me. It's very medieval. It feels like a small town, but with so much history. Obviously the river is a big point. One thing that I met today was a thing called a nutria, like a giant rat. And I'll never forget that. I thought it was like an otter, but it was a big thing. And the other thing is that I've always wanted to see is the church made of bone. Yeah, so I really want to do that, but it's always like an hour away. So, but yeah, I just think of the architecture. We always look forward to coming, like to Prague, because of the buildings and the history. So it's amazing, and the food as well is incredible. Yeah, quite a few things actually. At school I was into art, so I think I would have pursued painting. And I think if I'd have started younger, I'd like to be a sportsman, maybe football or even fighting, like kickboxing. I'd have loved to have got, you know, maybe followed that career. Anything competitive. Man United, the only football club. I've just made about 1 million enemies then.